Hello students, today we are going to look at how to use the compass rose, which is right here. So that's a compass rose, and we are going to learn how to use the scale, which is right there. So first thing we need to figure out is, what does a compass rose do? Well, when it's placed on a map, you can see that a compass rose shows us north, south, east, and west. It also shows us northeast, southeast, because you can see the southeast is between the south and the east. It also shows us southwest, same deal, south and west are here, and the southwest is in between. And finally, northwest. So all compass roses look pretty much like that. So when we're looking for directions on a map, if we want to figure out, we want to start at, let's say, St. Cloud. So we're going to start here in St. Cloud, okay? And we want to go north. Well, we just look at the compass rose and we see that north is up. And so all we need to do is go up. And we can see that Brainerd is north. We can also see that Northrum is north. Okay. Now, say we want to go northeast. Well, what is northeast? We know east is here, and north is here. So we kind of draw in between. We can see that Duluth is exactly northeast of St. Cloud. So by using the compass rose, we can figure out where we are and then where we can go from there. Let's do maybe one more here. Let's start at Virginia. What is south of Virginia? Well, it's okay. What is east or west? What is west of Virginia? You've got Bemidji. What is north? Well, nothing really. You just pretty much hit Canada. So again, that is how and why we use the compass rose. It tells us the directions that we're going: north, south, east, west, northwest, northeast, southeast, and southwest. Okay, so we have that figured out. But say we want to go an exact distance somewhere. So we're starting in Brainerd, and we want to go to, actually, let's not start in Brainerd. Let's start back in St. Cloud. Where is it? There we go. And we want to go to Duluth. So that is there. So if we were heading to Duluth, the first thing we'd want to know is, what direction are we going? From St. Cloud to Duluth, well, we're going northeast, because we're going this direction. If we were going from Duluth to St. Cloud, we'd actually be going southwest, because we'd be heading this direction. Okay, now how do we find out how far these two are apart? Well, we use this right here, the scale. Scale has little lines, and they're all marked. So this scale shows markings at 25, 50, 75, and 100. Others don't. Sometimes scale shows markings at a different location. Maybe this would have been 50, this would have been 100. So it just depends on how the map makers want to make it. Okay. So on this one, what you would do is, and you can't see me doing this, but you would lay down a ruler on top. And I just use a standard ruler. When I'm laying one on it right now. And it's 1 inch, 1 1/8 inches equals 100 miles. So from here to here, that is 1 1/8 inches. Okay? So what would it be from 0 to 25? Well, it's just under a 1/4 inch. So from 0 to 25, It's just under a quarter of an inch. Barely. So say we want to figure out how far is it from St. Cloud to Duluth. Well, when I put my ruler down here, I can see that it is exactly 1 1/2 inches from here to here. Okay? So, knowing that it's 1 1/2 inches, and knowing that 1 1/8 inches is 100 miles, okay, we know that if it's 1 1/8 inches here is 100 miles, this will get us to 100 miles. Okay, so from here to here is 100. So then what is left? Well, about 3/8 of an inch. So a little bit over a quarter inch. So we could probably guess that if it's a little between a quarter and a half inch, or between, if it's a little over a quarter inch, it's actually 3/8 of an inch. And this is just under, it's probably right around here somewhere. So that looks like about 35 miles. So we know here is about 35 miles. We know here is 100 miles. So we can calculate that 100 plus 35 equals 135 miles from St. Cloud to Duluth. So I just quickly pulled up a Google map and did a little calculation. Here's St. Cloud and here's Duluth. If you were to follow the road, that would be 144 miles. But as you can see, how we did it, we did an exact straight line from here to here. So it shows it that it's 144 using the road. So about 135 miles is correct. So by using the compass road and the scale from the previous map, we can see that it takes about 135 miles to get to Duluth. And there's a picture of our calculations again. Okay, let's try one more. We're going to erase all of that. Okay, and we are going to try to go from, let's start in Minneapolis right here. And we want to go really far away. So we're going to go to Halleck, all the way across. So what direction is Halleck? Well, it looks to me to be pretty much from, if we're heading from Minneapolis to Halleck, northwest. All right, so we know that it's northwest, and now we need to get our ruler and measure it. So Halleck to Minneapolis is 3 1/8, 3 5/8, 3 5/8. And we know that 1 1/8 is 100 miles. So 1 1/8 plus 1 1/8 plus 1 1/8 equals 3 3/8. So we know that most of the way there is 300 miles. That leaves us 3 3/8 minus 3 5/8. Let's try that again. 3 5/8 minus the 3 3/8. It gives us 2/8 left. So about a quarter of an inch, which a quarter of an inch here is 25. So we can see that it's about 325 miles from here to here as the bird flies. Now, if you're taking roads, they go, crooked and curve and stuff, and so they don't always cover it how you'd expect. But in general, when we use the compass rose, we're using just very exactly the straight direction. Now, we could say, hey, let's do it by roads. So let's figure out how far it takes to get from Duluth to St. Paul. Well, that road isn't perfectly straight. So what you would actually do is take a string and lay it down here and here and mark the ends of the string. Then you would take the string and you would straighten it out, put it on a ruler, 1 inch, 2 inches, and then figure out where it falls on the ruler and then compare that to the scale. So that's how we use scale, and that's how we use a compass rose on a map. Now we're going to give you some worksheets or to figure out the distances using a compass rose and using scale on a map.